What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be going through my top 3 favorite lures to use when I'm out in the water trying to go fishing and trying to catch me a big fish. So today I actually caught my PB on this very setup that you see right here. This is my Berkeley lightning rod with my Luers custom, I think. Luers custom reel. So with this one, I had tied on this exact frog right here. So this is probably my third choice to throw. But let's go through the first two before I explain the story about the frog and why I like to throw the frog. So for my first bait, if it's like, I don't know, early in the morning or late in the afternoon or even in the middle of the day, and I'm trying to catch a fish without much thought about it, I'm going to be throwing a crawl. So with this crawl, you could flip it into thick brush, you could like slowly retrieve it, and then you could also let it sink to the bottom and just let it fall off the bottom up and down, and overall it just catches a lot of fish. So this is actually the rage bug. It's a 4-inch black and blue. This is probably my go-to color and crawl, black and blue or June bug. Those are my top two, or actually top three colors is black and blue, green pumpkin, and June bug. So those three colors, any of those work perfectly fine. So that's the crawl right there. And on that one, I would fish it on a Texas rig. So right here, first what you're gonna want to put is a bullet weight. I don't like to fish my crawls weightless because I feel like it's just too slow sinking, and I like to like fish fast. So I'm gonna throw out a little 1/8 ounce or 1/8 of an ounce weight, bullet weight right there, tungsten, and then I'm gonna pair it up with, I believe this is either a 3 or a 2 extra wide gap hook. And the reason I don't want to go any bigger is if you see, it fits perfectly, because I don't want my the end of my hook to be right here, because it'll cause my bait to rip faster. So I'm gonna be using a smaller hook. Then for my second bait, weightless fluke. This one you gotta fish a little bit slower so it can sink a little bit and not be at the very top, or you can still fish it fast and fish it at the top like a top water bait. So with this one, I like to use a little bit of bigger of a hook, because it is a bigger bait compared to the fluke, a little bit longer due to the tail right here. So with this one, I would get a bait that goes all the way up to where it bends, where the bait like curves, not bends, where the bait curves. That's where I like to use. So it's a little bit bigger of a hook. It's a 4 or 5/0 hook, extra wide gap. And for this one, I like to fish it where I could see it. It's not at the very top of the water, but it's not at the very bottom. It's just right there, like not even breaking the surface of the water, and it's just sliding back and forth like that across the water, and usually you can see the fish go up and eat it. That's the reason I like this bait. This one, you could either fish it as a topwater, as I said, either like a frog, or you could fish it slowly sinking like a dying bait fish. So that's my bait number 2, and I would throw this one on this exact same bait caster that I use for the frogs, since it is a top water type bait. Now for my third choice, I would choose a top water frog. Usually I would go with a popping frog like this booyah frog right here, but today I decided to choose this smaller one. It's a Guggen mini filthy frog. The reason I chose this smaller one is for the hookup ratio, so it could be higher, because if you think about it, this one right here, it's a little bit too big for any kind of fish to eat. And if the fish bites it, it's most likely going to bite right here, the skirts that it has hanging, or the legs if you want to call it that. It would most likely, if a fish will come up, it's most likely going to bite right here and not towards up here where you want it to bite, so it could get hooked. With this frog, I cut the legs a little shorter. You could tell this is how it usually is. I think this one's probably, this one I cut too, but it was longer. It was the same length, but this one was probably down to here, and I cut it to 2 inches short so the hookup ratio could be greater. And now when the fish bites this, it gets hooked right there. So I actually went out today. It was thundering, and I went out, so I went back inside. I said, I'm not gonna risk it. There's lightning and thunder outside. Well, the storm passes, didn't rain at all, and I go out there with this frog. I throw it, and I see a bluegill try to come up and eat it. So I thought it was a bluegill, but then I said, what if it's a little bass? So I threw it a little bit further, and I slowly retrieved. And as I was retrieving, trying to bring it to the spot where that bluegill or bass tried to eat it, it was actually a bigger bass behind it that came up and smoked it. So I'll put up pictures if I could up on this video so y'all can see that. But this is what I caught my PB on. I didn't have a scale on me, but that fish was, if you look at my rod, this is a 7-foot rod. So from back here, the tail was back there, and the fish came all the way up to around over here. If you look at that, that's wider than my body, and I got a pretty wide body. So this frog would be my third choice. Now for this frog, how I would use it is I would throw it out there. I would either like just twitch it once or twice and just let it sit there for a few seconds, or I'll just slowly retrieve it, just slow. And that's how I was fishing it, very slow, just retrieving it, and I got that big fish to bite. So that's gonna be all for today, guys. If you have any questions about the baits, or I got tackle boxes full of baits, so if y'all want to see any more videos about any other baits, just comment down below and let me know what you want to see, or you could leave like a question down below and I could either like reply to the comment or email you. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next video. Peace.